Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to the Alchemy of Social Media Curation. We're very excited to get you a little bit late, obviously, as it happens sometimes. We had some computer crashing. Yet we have a very exciting program today, a very exciting show. We're going to talk about business-to-business social media, and we're going to talk specifically about curation and how it helps companies achieve results in social media. The guest that we have today, I'm very excited to introduce, is Arabella. Arabella is from Scoop.it, and I will give her a proper introduction later. What we're going to get started with will be to actually look at the alchemy of social media curation, looking at some concept behind it. And let me start to share my screen here in a minute. Here we are. Let's see if I can share that. Here we are. So let me make sure that my screen here. All right, perfect. So this chart really kind of look at. Oh no, we're not seeing that. So let me come back to this. Well, I'm glad this is going on YouTube, so we can actually make a loop of this and keep having fun all day. Let me see. All right. Can we see the screen well, Dante? Are we good on that? Okay. So I'm going to use that little screen. For some reason, when I put it on full screen, it just took me out of this. So anyway, the idea here is not really to go through the entire history of marketing. That would be way too long. However, a lot of people in the B2B space starts to really kind of not quite understand how things have changed and why we are in the position we are in today. A lot of companies are actually still in that paradigm of the traditional marketing. The traditional marketing really has not changed a lot since the 1950s, in the sense that there was a certain amount of control in the information that will come out from the company. Specifically, a lot of companies today in the B2B space are still in that paradigm where the website becomes that online brochure. This is who we are, this is what we do, click here for more information. A lot of companies are in that paradigm, and they can be successful that way. Yet the world around them are really changed, where there's a demand coming from new generations, a demand coming from people that want a better, more authentic, more direct link to companies, and that slowly starts to permeate really the B2B space. For people that have some question later on, I'll be happy to answer more about that change in marketing. What's interesting about it is how rapid that change is coming. Some people are thinking, and I hear some marketer in B2B talking about texting, when really what you want to put your emphasis on is notifications. How to get into that pristine mobile screen that most of the population is actually carrying with them. And the best way to do that is getting an app, so getting some notifications, how to get that content in. And a lot of companies are really extremely distressed by the fact that it's actually never stopping. It's a continuous content of information. The good news about this is it also means that people have short memory, meaning that if you have a bad review or you have something that is not positive towards your company, if you do things right, those bad reviews will actually become less and less important, because there will be new positive reviews coming out your way. This is, I think, the side that kind of an overview of all the different tools that B2B marketing and B2C marketing in social media are about. When you look at the center of it, yes, Facebook is maybe not as dominant as a platform with the younger generation as it was, but it's still carrying upward of 1 billion users, which is really the reason why most companies still need to consider Facebook as a legitimate platform to engage their audience. What's very important for B2B company is really to make sure that their website, their corporate website, is mobile friendly. Half of the traffic on the internet today really comes from some sort of a mobile platform, whether it's a smartphone or a tablet. A lot of buyers, a lot of B2B executives that actually are interested in switching suppliers, so they're interested in what B2B companies have to offer, are doing the shopping online on their own time using their own tablet. it is very important at that point that your website actually is visually up to it. And it's not okay anymore to have a website that is not mobile friendly. A lot of companies start and thinking like, okay, is that social media ready? Is that good for me? Is that not good for me? And what kind of content can we put? And this is obviously, what this program is about. We're going to talk at length about content through curation with Arabella in a minute. But that's not the only kind of content, obviously. In-between way to get an audience is through an old-fashioned technique called the blog. And we'll recommend that company use WordPress, which is not only open source, meaning free, but it also gives a lot of tools for social media, for companies to be into social media and actually get the message heard. What is particularly successful for B2B companies to have a blog that is actually coming from the CEO itself, or himself or herself. That CEO actually has the ability to give content to his or her team to actually use in social media. And blog does not have to be difficult. I'm talking about maybe a posting a week, 2 or 3 paragraphs. And that really allows a lot of companies to tiptoe their way into social media before really getting deep and heavy into content generation. And of course, when we talk about content, it's impossible not to consider the possibilities offered by video. A lot of companies are still stuck in that, oh my God, if we need to do a video, we need to hire a video producing company. Actually, you really don't. As a matter of fact, most of the employees of companies today carry in their own pocket, whether it's company provided or whether they bought it themselves, an actual smartphone that can take high definition video. Obviously, that raises the question of, do you want your employees to actually take videos? And the answer is yes, as long as you have a social media policy that kind of regiment it. But what an opportunity, really. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, what is a video worth? And then throughout, the morning, we can actually look at different and other ways to actually get your social media ready. But I don't want to take too much time on this, and I want to go more towards what is a clear path of success. A lot of companies really are turned off by the choices that there are. Where do I actually put my efforts? So here's a slide that actually clearly shows the difference between B2B versus B2C. Obviously, today we're going to talk more about B2B, so it's important that your site is mobile friendly. It's also important that you consider creating a blog, as well as a Google Plus to maximize your SEO, a YouTube platform to actually post any video you have, a LinkedIn page, although be careful with LinkedIn. You can create and you should create a company page. Just understand that less than 5% of the users are actually engaged with that platform. The way to get around that engagement, of course, is what we're going to be talking in a minute for Scoop.it. And then we recommend that you use a tool like Sprout Social to actually make sense of all of this. If you do have a retail location, or you can actually, on a trade show, create a temporary location, Foursquare can drive you some traffic. And then you can consider using Twitter and Facebook. And if you have a visual product, Pinterest, which I will let you Google on your own. The 4 steps to success is really where most companies fail into that B2B environment because they stop at about step 3. And you cannot just do that. First thing is, a good thing to do is actually getting a little test on Facebook. And that test is actually to see if your audience is ready to be engaged on a business-to-business with Facebook. A lot of time I have CEOs that just say, oh, nobody's using Facebook that I know of. Is that actually representative of the people that are buying your product? And the only way you can really know is know how many of them are actually on Facebook. And one way to do this is just doing a simple test, what I call the Facebook test. You take a representative sample, let's say 100 to 200 email addresses of your clients or past clients, and you upload this into your Facebook page, and then you see how many of them actually have a Facebook account. And if you match less than 20%, then maybe you don't want to do Facebook for your B2B business. Maybe your audience is not there. On the other hand, if you match 30% or more, it may be a clear and easy decision. If 1 out of 3 people actually have an account on Facebook, and those people are actually buying products from your company, then obviously it makes sense for you to have a page on Facebook. Then you have to really develop that relationship with the top people that you know, either they're employees or customers or advisors, and send them a personal invite to actually entice them and say, hey, great news, we are on social media, we're doing B2B now on social media, and those are the sites that I'd like you personally to try. And then, of course, use the power of those sites like LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook, and Twitter will all allow you to actually upload the entire list of email you have and actually invite them, meaning invite your clients and customers and prospects to actually become a fan or liker or follower on your different page in social media. The most important thing you have to do aside of a social media strategy is having a real content strategy. On a B2B, it has to be about substance. As you can see on the right, you see that B2B, that B2C, business to consumer, it's about fun, causality, being unique, discount. That seldom work in business to business. But substance does not have to be hard. There's substance you create and there's substance that actually you rebound on other people's articles, which is what we're going to talk in a minute when I turn it over to Arabella. So the substance is posting from the CEO on a blog. It's about spotlights on employee. And then, and this is where most companies actually stop, reach out and aggressively post on behalf of the company on other pages and network. Do not hesitate to actually take your social media sites and actually post on other sites to benefit from their traffic. For example, if you're in a specific industry and that industry has a dominant platform that most people go to, then get an alliance with that platform, post on it, post on their Facebook site, post on their group in LinkedIn, post on their Google Plus page on behalf of your company to actually benefit from that traffic. The cornerstone of your strategy has to be a monthly event, something that is either online or offline, something that you not only promote before the event, but something that you actually use and keep promoting after the event so people know what they miss. And it doesn't quite matter if it's online or offline. It can be a chat with the CEO, it can be a Google Hangout on air like we're doing, or it can be the launch of a new product. The point being, to be successful in B2B, you have to really be out there and be aggressive into getting your content in a targeted way to the audience that matters to you. The other way you can do this, on top of this, as you can see, is using Scoop.it articles. And this is really where I'm extremely privileged and very, very happy to actually turn this over to Arabella. And let me introduce Arabella from Scoop.it. I met Arabella actually the very first time, that was a year ago at Tech Week Chicago. And she was working actually as an executive director there. And she put Tech Week for a few years. And after Tech Week, she actually moved on to help Scoop.it develop to the platform and the dominant platform it is today about Curation. And we've been working for maybe about 6 months now, and it's been always a pleasure to have you. And thank you so much for joining us for the Hangout on Air, Arabella. And she's hi, and as you can not see, but she's in San Francisco in their office right now, and they keep moving, but they told me that this move is good for at least a year, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's turn it to you and learn a little bit more about Scoop.it.
Great, thanks. So I guess I could I screen share this, or I could just
Yeah,
right?
that's what I did. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to talk about Scoop.it and how B2B businesses can use it for their to feed their social media with relevant content. And I really love the way you prefaced our conversation today on the benefits of having content for your social media strategy, because it's not just about knowing that you need to be on Facebook or knowing that you need to have a Twitter account, but it's also thinking about what would make that grow, what would make your presence grow. But in the case of B2B businesses, I have this presentation to show you specifically how some B2B businesses are using Scoop.it and how you could apply this case study or some of the ideas here to your own social media and content strategy. So let me do this.
It took me 3 tries, so there you are. You see, you're smarter than me.
Great, it's working. Okay, so All right, so Scoop.it for B2B, building market leadership in niche industries. One of the reasons why I think Scoop.it is really great for B2B is because we are actually a content curation platform that is made for topics on the long tail of the spectrum of different things you can talk about. For example, mostly Twitter and big media companies like New York Times, they focus on the short tail, what's really happening right now, current events, trendy things, Kim Kardashian, things like that. Well, the B2B market and B2B businesses, they oftentimes have very focused, very narrow audience space. But that doesn't mean that just because you have a narrow audience space that you don't have, the readership of the New York Times, doesn't mean that you can't have your own media to establish market leadership in your niche industry. And that's what I'm going to talk about, how building this sort of market leadership in your industry will help you generate leads, gain a social presence, and also gain a bigger online presence. So how will your business benefit from using Scoop.it? As I said, it will help you establish market leadership in your industry because you'll be spreading information, news, not necessarily news about your company, but mainly it's news that is relevant to what your company is interested in, your industries, what you care about, what you stand for, the values you stand for as an organization. Scoop.it can also help grow your online presence. Unlike social networks, we are about distributing content everywhere. As you said, Philippe, it's not, you should really try to get on platforms. Businesses should really try to get on platforms that really fit for them. Well, Scoop.it allows you to not only curate content on a Scoop.it page, but you could also send this out to and publish to all your social networks, including Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn groups, and also WordPress and Pinterest and Google+. We are just integrated with everything. So basically, this will help you get found online. And another thing is, when it comes to Twitter and Facebook, did you know that when you post something on Twitter and Facebook, that has a lifespan of about 20 to 30 minutes. That means that you're not capturing traffic or even any sort of thought engagement with your audience by just posting once a day and having a tweet last for 20 minutes to 30 minutes of real engagement. And so what you want to do is really capture this capture ideas, great content that's relevant about your industry, what you're passionate about, and put it in a content hub. And also, when it comes to Facebook pages, Facebook is a closed network. Facebook is not indexed by Google. Scoop.it is indexed by Google, and it has highly search engine optimized pages. And I'll show you the results from our B2B customers and users and how they've seen their traffic, their page views grow. Next point is Scoop.it will also help you, like I said, feed your social network with relevant content that will attract potential customers or a fan base of evangelists. Now, the problem with social networks in general is that they're actually on the social graph. When you're a B2B business and you're talking about a niche industry, you are you're really mainly based on your interest graph. So that means that you can put out, say as a CEO, you can put out a piece of content on your Facebook page, your profile, your own Facebook profile, and maybe you'll get your friends and family to come on because they support you. But really your Facebook feed and your Facebook profile is made up of many different things, including personal posts. But what you also want to do is you want to make it, you want to be able to establish some sort of interest-based topic posting, and that will help you with Scoop.it. Also, we also help you keep your current customers interested because we're integrated with emails. So, oops, I think that you are only seeing the first one. Are you still only seeing the first one?
Yes, now we're seeing the second one, yep.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, you may want to go full screen maybe for the whole slide.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Can you see that?
We can see the second slide indeed, yeah. We can see your slide deck and then the second slide, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
We're just missing a little bit of the text, but
yeah.
you know, that's fine.
Does that work? Can you see it?
Can you go full screen maybe on your presentation or?
Full screen right now.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Most of it, yes.
Okay.
Just I'll let you know, just the bottom is missing, the after quality social media and content.
Excellent. So basically, the next point is keeping your current customers interested by sending out interesting and beautiful curated newsletters. We are now integrated with email, so you don't even need a designer to send a beautiful newsletter. And not only that, yes, like platforms like MailChimp make it, MailChimp, vertical response, constant content make it easier to send out newsletter, but then you still have to think about content. But if you're already curating on a topic page, you can then easily just send that out weekly or monthly to your customers and keep them engaged with content that they'll be interested in. And also the last point of how your business will benefit from using Scoop.it is we help you come out with quality social media and content with minimal cost and time investment compared to other solutions. So we really want to show that yes, it does. It's not an automated aggregator. That's not what we do. What we do is we actually help you discover content, and you're the one who figures out whether or not this piece of content is good for your business. And then you add that layer of context and relevancy, and that is really how you're going to build your voice as a B2B market leader. So the next slide, can you see that?
We're on the second slide now. If you can move to the third one.
Did it go through?
No, not yet.
Let's see.
There we are.
Now I think I have to get out of full screen and then play. Yeah. So now I just wanted to show you how Scoop.it is 1, 2, 3, because I know that time is of the essence for business owners. So the first thing that you would do is select a piece of content that you think is great for your topic of interest that really represents your business. And we have a suggestion engine, and that's basically our own search engine within our platform that gives you suggestions according to the keywords you put into this suggestion engine. You can also optimize it with RSS feeds of blogs that you already read or industry news that you already go to. And then the next one is, so now we do the second step, edit. So we really encourage a lot of our users to just add just a piece of insight to whatever you're scooping. That's because that will really help, like I said before, establish your brand voice. And you could also edit the post title and then add and also add a different paragraph if you'd like, or make the picture. And that's a feature on our Scoop.it for Business package. The next one is share. So this is where you're really going to get the most out of making Scoop.it your content hub. So you can actually share to all your social networks. You can share well, it'll be posted so the search engines can find you. Your topic page is not private, so the Google loves us, and it will index your page. Like I said, you can also share to an email. And we also have an API, an open API, and that is for integrations that are more basically beyond the business package. And I can talk to you more about that if you'd like. Just give me, send me an email or reach out to me. And so now, as I promised, I'm going to go over a case study because I think that's really the best way to show you how to use Scoop.it for B2B. This is a case study for IS Decision, and they are a company that does consulting for IT consulting. And they are a information technology software publisher who specializes in infrastructure and security, and they have 3,000 customers worldwide. And now they came to Scoop.it because they had a problem. They wanted to know, how do you get top of mind in a crowded market with multiple vendors and numerous potential customers? So they figured out with their content strategy that their target audience are technology professionals. These are engineers and specialists, CIOs, IT consultants. These are the people that are going to get them their big business clients. When you do think about putting together a content strategy for your social media, you also want to think about, hey, you know, which topics would engage your audience? Well, this is what they thought about. Which topics would engage their audience? So this is IS Decisions curated topic lineup, and this is what they came up with. They thought that their audience would like Microsoft news, infrastructure news, IT tools, security, and they also have a page on corporate news where they just add anything that is any coverage, news coverage, or media coverage that is about their business. All the other ones are mainly curated content from different sources, anywhere from PC Magazine to TechCrunch or New York Times, or even some small niche blogs. And this is where they find their content. Like I said, we have Scoop.it has a suggestion engine, but sometimes they also use our Scoop.it bookmarklet, which can then add to your browser, which is similar to the Pinterest bookmarklet. Basically, you can curate and post any web page onto your Scoop.it topic page. And then there's also Google Reader that they use to discover other readers, since Google Reader is already dying. And then they also can, if they decide to, curate company blog posts and news. So the next one is like, what type of content will they curate? So it really depends on also your industry, what content you want to curate. Because, for example, if you're a really highly visual industry, for example, like an architect or a designer, would probably want to get really beautiful photos. So that's like, you know, visuals are great to show off in curated context. And also it depends what audience you want to go after. If your industry going after women, then Pinterest would actually be a good place for you to curate content. But the other content types are, like I said, news, product reviews, tips and tools, strategy. This is for IS Decisions, geek stuff, and then relevant multimedia like slides, share, presentations, videos, and infographics. So now that layer of personalization is really important to us at Scoop.it, because we believe that what we're trying to do is make the web a smarter place. And in order to organize the web, make it a smarter place, we really need people to add their insight, because you need to tell other people why this piece of content is relevant to your business. That is a really great way to showcase your thought leadership, and also just add that sort of human voice to each piece, because really no machine, no algorithm out there can replace your eye for what is right and how your business should be represented by a piece of content. And then, like I said, there's social sharing. You can share from your Scoop.it topic page to everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google search as well. And then for the business package, you also get the ability to brand and integrate your website into your topic page into your website. So, for example, these pages are all pages, but they are branded and integrated into isdecisions.com. And I think that this is a really beautiful way to show that your content is linked to your brand. And also, because if you have the business package, you can also add your topic page to a subdomain, which means that you would get all of your all of that traffic going to your page. And then I just wanted to let you go show you the actual results, because this will give you an idea on how this makes an impact. So the targeted audience of IS decisions is 56,400 plus visits. So targeted audience, they've collected a targeted audience of 50,400 visits on niche topics, and 110,000 page views, and 46,000 search results in Google. They've also generated leads and also brand awareness. Philippe, did you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, once you finish, we are starting to get a little bit of questioning on Twitter, and I wanted to relay those to you, plus I have some question of my own.
Oh, excellent, great. Let me. I'm almost done here. Just 3 more slides, and I wanted to introduce you guys also to a Scoop.it user. So not just a company, but someone who is a really great super user of Scoop.it, and she owns an architecture firm in Orange County, California called MYD Studio in Orange County. And she started curating about 14 months ago while researching for her firm's blog. And what she found is she can now explore, as she researches and post and share ideas and content on things that she's interested in, including, and also things that her firm stands for. So her topics include sustainable architecture and data visualization and green urban design. So her name is Lauren Moss. And here's her results so far. She has now a total target audience of 12,000 plus followers on niche topics. She also has 168,000, over 168,000 page views. And she has 57,000 search results on Google just on her sustainable architecture topic. And she also has lead generation and brand awareness. She actually said this story where she got 1 lead last year from her Scoop.it page, and I think that's great because architects usually have about, like a small firm like hers, about 5 to 10 clients. So one lead from just doing something that you're already going to do on social media, or you were already doing anyway, like researching about your industry, is a good ROI. So as I told you before, we also are integrated to MailChimp, and you could also export into an email account. As long as it's an HTML account, you can have this beautiful, your beautiful topic page and turn it into a newsletter. And you can do that by choosing very easily on Scoop.it. And as you can see here, this is a nonprofit organization in Washington, D.C. And this is what they do to keep their email list subscribers engaged. They send out great, interesting content around change making and social entrepreneurship.
It really looks neat. And that's automated?
Yeah, if you want, well, you have to just press a button, and basically if you, and then you kind of choose how many scoops you want to put on there, and then just export it out, and you have an HTML, beautiful HTML email right there.
And do you have room in that email to actually add a little bit more content outside of Scoop.it, or is it pretty much like pre-designed like this?
So you see that they added text on
top, right? Yeah.
They added that on their HTML newsletter platform. I think they use vertical response. I'm not sure. But you can do that as well. We've done that before through MailChimp.
Okay, sweet.
And then, and I also learned that a lot of businesses use email to communicate with their customers. So this is a really great way to have another, another piece to really engage them.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how many people are still actually like to do business using email exclusively.
Oh yeah.
I'm going on another way of communicating. I mean, it's like you use certain apps and then they will only act once they receive the email notification.
I agree.
And will not act like in real time when it happens. I know.
It's like you can never get away from it. So I just, Philippe, you asked me to put together some key metrics to measure if they
Please.
decided to do social media curation. And I suggested, like, measure the page views on your topics, the engagement of your audience, engagement and following on your social networks, click-throughs on your curated newsletters, and qualified leads from your content. So like I said before, I don't expect B2B business have an audience of like a New York Times, but you as a B2B company or as B2B business should understand, how big is your audience, and as long as you actually gather the right people around your content, that's really what matters, because those are the people that will evangelize your brand, evangelize your service, and to potential customers. So even if you're not reaching out, even if your media, your piece of content that you've curated didn't reach someone who is a potential customer, it will reach someone who is interested in your industry, who will probably know somebody who might be your potential customer. And that's really the point of doing this sort of content strategy, is to engage people who are interested in you and can act as can amplify your message as a B2B business.
Absolutely.
So
Are we ready for questions?
yes, I definitely.
Awesome. Let's maybe here you are. Perfect. So just for the audience, you can actually tweet your question at Cesson, CESSON, and we've received a few already, and some of them are pretty basic and would rather you explain it. Copyrights. Some people are concerned about copyrights, like, do you have the right to actually use content, and how does that work with legalese and stuff like this?
So we are not basically not dissimilar from posting a link on Twitter or a link on Facebook, and we have attorneys also that have user and copyright like our particularly, what do you call that, user, I forgot what they're called, but basically I'm not a lawyer. So when it comes to copyright,
Neither am I.
we have indexed and share, our users have indexed and shared more than 50 million pieces of content since we've launched. And you know how many takedowns we've had since then?
No.
42.
Wow.
So out of 50 million pieces of content that were posted on Scoop.it, only 42 were asked to be taken down. So the reason why this is because the way our platform gets the piece of content is we don't have you publish the whole piece, and it's always linked back to the original source with the source credited to it. Yes, you can change your post title, like you can change the headline to make it more relevant to your topic page, but that's not changing the actual post, and you're not stealing that content. You're only giving like a glimpse, the little snippet with the photo, that's always lesser resolution than what the source has. So it's just basically showing a glimpse and a snippet of what what the content's about. And then we also tell you, hey, also add your insight to it and tell people why this piece of content is relevant to you. And that's a separate actual area from the actual content too. So really it's the same as sharing to Twitter and taking a link and saying, oh, I think it's a good idea, and adding your piece of like 140 characters to that.
And for people that have never used a platform, when you actually click on Arbella, are you still there? Hello? Oh, it looks like we lost her. Oh, there she is. Okay, we got dropped for a sec. I tell you this anyway. So what I was saying was I forgot what I was saying actually. Yeah. For people that have actually never used the platform, you can actually click, when you click on the article, it actually goes to the original source.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it always does.
Right. So tell us a little bit, and I'm looking at certain question that just came in again. Tell us a little bit about uh, the SEO. Like it's very well seen by Google. Can you give us maybe a little bit more like behind the scene look on what exactly is being seen and what are like the best things to do to help in that? Because the traffic goes to um, the page. The page actually is on your server, but the page look and feel like you're actually browsing the site of the user, right, of the company.
Yeah.
And we'll show an example again. You know what? Let's actually use this and actually because I'd like to showcase one company like live, you know, and I don't know if we see it. Do we see it? Yeah, like Bailey. You know, we talked about that. Bailey is a hardwood lumber company.
Yeah.
Is a client of our agency for a long time client actually, and they've started using Scoop.it a little bit, you know, probably like 2 months ago, and they have different topics there. Could you explain a little bit, you know, that works for the SEO, the look and feel, and all of this?
Yeah, so basically, in terms of the SEO, we have engineers that are, working diligently to make sure this site is well indexed by Google. You could actually one of the things that we do that's different from, say, Pinterest or which is a content curation site, is that you can actually host your Scoop.it page on your own domain. And we really say that this is very important because if you want to capture that traffic that Google is looking at, you should do that by hosting your Scoop.it page on your domain, especially if only if you can do that. You can only do that on the Scoop.it business package, but it really does help. Another thing is, so if there's like some of the tips that I would recommend in like really making your Scoop.it page search engine optimized is very easy. You don't even have to have a sort of like expertise in SEO to do that. I've seen a lot of users change just their post. Like think of this as if you're posting it on your Facebook or on your Twitter or on your blog. Okay, and just say, okay, how do you make this content that you just curated, what would really grab the attention of your readers? So you read the piece of content, you say, okay, I think that this piece of content, instead of the headline being something, being what it is, I'm going to change my headline for this curated piece of content to kind of ask a question and then add like a sort of a keyword that really pertains to your industry. So the business growth topic is really interesting, Philippe. They have just as much I think views on business growth as they do with their hardware lumber industry. But I remember speaking to one of their team members, and they said they would be interested in talking about just business growth, and that's a really interesting way of aligning your business and your business's website with a topic or subject matter that is not necessarily your industry. And I think that that's a really good way to also be indexed in Google for like something else that maybe is pertinent more about your company values, right? So they have a company value of like entrepreneurship and growing a solid business. I mean, they're a very successful B2B business, and they want to share thought leadership on business growth. I think that's brilliant, and it's a really great way, as long as you also link back from your header to your actual website. It's a really great way to kind of go beyond the content that's on your site, because on your site you're just talking about yourself, you're talking about your services. But if you want to engage a larger audience, you've got to take some risk and say, okay, I believe in this, I believe in entrepreneurship as a lumber company, and I want to curate on topics like that. And pretty soon, if they keep that up, they might even get inquiries from the media to have interviews with their CEO. There's definitely a lot of ways to get more out there, because you will get found by people.
So Bailey, if you're watching this, kudos. You're doing a great job.
I think that's brilliant that they did that. is really nice.
Okay, anything else you want to add? The question we have, I think, is like we're going to post the actual presentation. It's going to be available on YouTube. We'll actually make your presentation and our slides together. We'll merge it and make it available for everyone to have. I'm going to introduce actually a little thing before we go, and then we'll just wrap it up. We've actually had the opportunity on our site to launch today.
Oh, it's
Here we
beautiful.
are. Yeah, thank you. There's company we really like, and the company we really like, I believe our clients will like, and we kind of partner with different companies that will pretty much allow our clients, which are CEOs and companies, mid-sized to large, to actually have a better result in their social media and content creation. And we partner with Sprout Social, Scoop.it, Active Campaign, and a blog writer named Lyndon Gross for content purposes. And you have actually a one-page site where you can, on your own, just fill out a form, which is literally just name, first name, and company name. And then you receive detailed instruction on how to have access to those sites. We do it really in a way to encourage people to use it. There's a little bit of benefits when you do this. There's extended free trial. Like, for example, with you guys, Arabella, I think we have 2 months free as opposed to the usual 15 days, which is pretty awesome. Plus, you get our coaching, and then when Arabella is not traveling the world, our coaching as well to actually make it succeed, because we really want to lead the way of success in B2B social media. And I think a big part of what we do as an agency is this. So, Arabella, I so want to thank you so much. And I know we had to postpone in 1 week because you were under the weather last week. And you look great today, and it was a great session. And I also, let me come back to so we can see my smiling face. I also want to thank our friend here, Dante, that has been silently, let me see, where are you? Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Dante, that has been helping us, obviously, in the agency to make this works. Of course, when we're ready to go live, the computer went down. But, you know, I think yeah, we soldered that through. So thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure. And we'll see you in a month, which will be the second week, the second Friday of the month of July. And we'll have an actual hangout with one another company, Sprout Social. And Peter Dreiska from Sprout Social will be there. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks, Arabella.
Bye.
Bye.